Hi, hello, and welcome. Today we have some new colored pencils to try out, and if anybody knows me, they know that my least favorite art supply is colored pencils. I know that's strange. Apparently a lot of people really like colored pencils, but I find them incredibly slow, unreliable. It doesn't really work with every paper, and the wrist pain after is ridiculous. But I do like to sketch with colored pencils, and I do like to add them on top of watercolor. So I wanted some new ones. These are my old Arteza pencils. I will be comparing them to these. You can see they still have like a good amount of lead, but my favorite colors are the ones that are going down. And I wanted some more browns and purples because I use those a lot. I have only ever used one Prismacolor pencil, a black, and it felt very similar to these pencils. So I'm not really going to compare them to Prismacolors because I don't know much about Prismacolors, but I'll compare them to these Artezas. And they were they were bought in 2019. So yeah, because I know they changed. When they came out with the colored pencils, they were one way. Then they changed manufacturers, and I think this is a second manufacturer, but I think they changed manufacturers again. So yeah, I don't know. This is from 2019. I'll show you the swatches for this after I do the swatches for this, so that we can compare. So these went on sale. That's why I bought them. I had to buy something and they went on sale, so I decided to pick them up. I did not expect a cardboard box, and I did not expect it to look like this. It's very beaten up. Amazon put it in a paper bag, and it looks like the delivery guy played frisbee with it or something, because wow. But that is, no, you know what? No. Because everything else that came in that package came perfectly fine. Like, this came in the package, and so did this, and they're in pristine condition, so maybe it was just the Kalour people. These are the colored pencils. First thing I noticed is that they kinda look cheap. I mean, I know they were cheap, but they're the same prices as the Arteza, and the Arteza already feels different. The Arteza went up in price since these were bought, because my brother bought them for me in 2019. So they're more expensive than the Kalour now, but back when he bought them, they were cheaper. So this is the same price. That's another reason why I want to compare them. Oh, I've never used professional colored pencils. Arteza is the only colored pencil I've used besides like Crayola, and you know when you buy milk around back to school times, they sometimes wrap like these cheap colored pencils around it, or sometimes ballpoint pens and stuff. Yeah, those Crayola and Arteza. So my expectations aren't astronomical. They just have to do what they say they're going to do. These look like a lot of colors, and yet not enough. Well, I have some. I'm going to swatch on some, this is cellulose watercolor paper. This is either the Doodle Hog or the Norberg Linden one, I think. I can't remember which one. No, this is the Doodle Hog. This is a Norberg Linden. I was looking to see if I had one of the portraits that I've done. No, I don't have it in this folder. But anyway, so the plan is I'm going to do some swatching, I'm going to do some comparing, and then I'm going to do some artwork. I was going to do like a full colored pencil illustration. I may or may not still do that, because I bought these mainly to sketch and add on top of watercolor, so I might use them how I plan to use them. But also, I did find this recently. This is Gamlin Gamsol Odorless Mineral Spirits, and I found out about this from Lisa from Lacquerie Fine Arts, and this works very well for blending, but that method of layering then blending then waiting to dry then layering then blending, it takes so long. Which is another reason why I don't like colored pencils for final work. But colored pencils for, in addition to regular stuff, that's fine. There's just one problem. These are not in numerical order, and that bothers me. Look, this is 84, 96, 96, 83, 146. Why did you do this to me? Look at what Arteza did. Just look at this. This is it not alphabetical. This is it in numerical order, because numbers matter to me more than colors. I know people like to see the rainbow colors, but I prefer numbers. And this is what the colors ended up coming out like when you go numerically. Oh well, I think I'm just going to swatch them exactly how they are right now, because I don't feel like sorting through, 72 colored pencils. So yeah, I am going to do this, and I'm going to go in voiceover and tell you about something that excites me very much. 3, 2, 1, let's go. It is my pleasure to announce that I have recently published the first book in my latest novel series. The series is called Kalour, and the first book is called The Warrior in the Key. It's a portal fantasy set in the future, about 800 years I think, in the future, and it's action, adventure, fantasy, hint of romance, a little bit of politics, and it is also PG-13 because I don't like writing graphic violence. But there is a lot of action, so your action craving will be satisfied. I really love this series. I've been working on it for like the past 2 years. I finished writing books 1, 2, and 3, but I've only published book 1. I love this series so much, I even drew the cover myself. Well, actually I drew multiple versions of the cover, and this was my favorite one that I decided to use. And I can't wait for you guys to read it. I can't wait for everybody to read it. It's on Amazon Kindle Unlimited, so if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, then you can read it with that without paying any extra. But you can also buy the book if you want. I don't think I published the paperback yet, but that should be coming soon. And I've already, like I said, finished books 2 and 3, so those should be coming out right after, as soon as I finish drawing the cover. That's what's holding up that. But book 1 is done, and it is ready for everybody to read, so please go check it out. I will leave a link to the Amazon page in the description, and you can stay tuned for my other stories that I'm going to be publishing soon. I just finished the first draft of another story that's not set in this world, but it's a part of a 3-series book series that should be coming out later this year. And I also have other books that are all on Kindle Unlimited for anybody with an unlimited subscription to read, that you can also check out. A lot of them I really, really enjoy. Well, all of them. I love all my stories. And some of the series are already finished, so if you don't like reading ongoing series, you can try out like my Bodyguard series or my pirate trilogies. I have 2 pirate trilogies out, and I have a standalone pirate novel. And yeah, so I'll leave the links to the Amazon page and to this book in particular in the description, and back to the video. So this is what the swatches look like, and first impressions, I don't like them. For one, they are very dry, and compared to the Arteza are so much smoother to draw with. And these are just really dry. It's hard to explain, but they're dry and they're dusty. By the way, the reason I even decided to buy these because I watched review by I think Coloring Bliss and a few other people who said that these pencils were really good. We have a different definition of that. Either that or I really just prefer smoother, softer leads, more on the waxy side than the oily side, because I heard these are more oily. But yeah, I'm not that impressed. They take a lot of wrist pressure to get the color down compared to the Arteza. So I'm going to think of some subjects to draw that I will use with this, and we'll see what I come up with. I've already dropped one of the pencils, so we'll also see if they shatter, because of course I already dropped one of the pencils. This is me. Everything falls. You have no idea how extensively I have tested the build quality of the S5, S7 and now Note 10 Plus. They have been dropped into the ocean before, all three of them. But anyway, back to the colored pencils. I'm debating on what to draw, but I think I want to try this paper. And I kind of want to try this sketchbook. I've never worked on this sketchbook before, but I bought two in two different sizes. So the A5, which is this size, and this 4.7 by 4.7 one. So it's pretty small. I'll see you soon with some sketches. So it's the next day and I have the pieces that I'm going to work on. So the first one is this. I am going to do colored pencil and then put watercolor over it. But the colored pencil would be what gives it the form and the value, and the watercolor will bring out the color. You'll see what I mean, hopefully, when I try this. I couldn't tell which side of this paper was the right or wrong side, so I'm just going to hope that I drew on the correct side. This is cellulose paper, by the way. I only just, for the first time ever in my life, bought 100% watercolor, cotton watercolor paper, but it was a cheap brand because I needed an extra $7 to get free shipping. So I don't know if it's good paper. I may or may not try it off screen, or I may make a video of it. I haven't decided yet. I only just got it. But yeah, this is the first one. This is the second one. I did this watercolor painting like 2 months ago, and the plan was always to go in with colored pencil and really define it and bring out more of the features, but I never came around to doing it. So I figured this is a perfect time to do it. I can do this flower in the Kalour colored pencils and then this in the Arteza, and then compare that. And then this one. Okay, I'm probably going to have to stick this down with masking tape instead of washi tape. But this one is the one that I'm going to use Gamsol on. And the reason that I had to tape this down, this is on watercolor paper as well. All of this is on watercolor paper. But all of it is like cellulose watercolor paper. But anyway, this is the one I'm going to use a Gamsol on. I also have this pencil. When my aunt was visiting last year, she asked me what I wanted, and I told her charcoal pencils, and then this was in the same section, so she just bought it for me, and she was like, cool, know what to do with it. So I've never used it before, but I don't know which of these pieces, but I'll keep this on hand in case I decide to use it. She also bought me these pencils, and that number makes me cringe. The price for art supplies has gone up so much. I used to buy charcoal pencils for like $3 online, and now it's like $20. Why? This would be closer to about $11 US because it's 7 to 1. It always has been. The Trinidad dollar is very stable, but so that's expensive. I haven't tried these yet. this brand. This is my favorite brand, but I haven't tried this yet. But this is not what the video is about. It's about colored pencils. I put them in this pencil case. I have my sharpener. Oh, I forgot to explain what the Gamazol does. Okay, this blends it out so you get a kind of watercolor effect. It gets very smooth. You can burnish on top of it, but the benefit for using the Gamazol is that it doesn't damage the tooth of the paper, so you can put more and more layers on top of it. The layers will depend on the pencil you use, but with the Arteza on regular sketchbook paper, I've gotten on average about 5 layers and sometimes up to 7 layers, and that paper did not have the tooth this have, so this should work out. And then I'll probably go on top and do the burnishing with the pencils for the actual orange. I've never drawn or painted fruits before, but lately I've been liking to watch a lot of still life pictures, so I can't wait to do it. I wanted to paint it in watercolor. I wanted to do like some lemons or something in watercolor, but that's for another time. So yeah, that's the plan. I may or may not do more pieces off camera. It really depends on how I feel and how long this video is going to take to do, because one of the reasons why this is taped down is because the Gamazol is going to make the paper wet, which means I might have to wait on the layers to dry. So I'll probably do like a layer of this, wait for that to dry, start working on this, and then just keep going in between the 3 pieces, because I'm gonna have to wait for the layers of the watercolor and this one to dry as well. Yeah. So let's get into it. This is going to be a lot of work, but I've actually been looking forward to this. I just hope that my first impression of the colored pencils were wrong, and I hope looking at this chart will not make me want to slam my head into a wall, because it's not organized in rainbow color and it's not organized in numerical color, which sucks, because like at least organize it in one color. But I'm not going to reorganize the pencils because they're just going to be in this pencil case anyway. I think that is it, but just in case if I forget anything, I will put it in the voiceover that I will do hopefully right after I finish these pieces, so that I don't forget what I'm supposed to be talking about. Yeah, so let's get right into the coloring. So, time for piece number 1. I did this watercolor painting a few weeks ago, and then now it's time to add in the colored pencil. I don't really add colored pencil to my watercolor pieces, and only if there's something I want to add in, I'll just use gouache. So this was kind of new. Normally when I'm doing colored pencil with watercolor, I put the colored pencil first, as you'll see in the next piece. But I really wanted to try this out because there's some techniques that I want to try, and that involves putting the colored pencil on top of the watercolor. This went pretty okay. Some of the colors didn't really show up. The white, like I said before, is pretty much useless, and the pencil didn't really go into the grooves of the paper, because you're supposed to use, from what I heard, rougher paper for the pencil to for the paper to really grip the pencil. And the Arteza, it definitely went on much easier than the Kalour did, but it wasn't too bad. I did get some nice details, and I overall really like the end result. 72 pencils felt a lot less than I expected them to, because with watercolor it's easier to mix the colors that you want, but with pencil it's not so easy. I'll talk more about it in the final piece, but yeah, the watercolor, it was fine, honestly. It wasn't too difficult. I wish I had more colors. That's the main thing. I just really wish I had more colors. I never thought I would want a set of anything to have more yellows, except for this set. This set kinda needed more yellows and oranges. But the thing is, I can't figure out what it has too much of. I just feel like I don't like the color choice. All the colors don't feel like primaries. They feel like Because with primary colors and even secondary colors, you can mix them. But when you start getting into like the metallic blue, you can't really mix those with other colors to get other colors. It's just going to end up looking like mud. And I think that's where the Arteza really shines more than the Kalour. The colors are more basic. So it feels like I have more with the Arteza pencils than I do with the Kalour pencils, just because it's so much easier to just mix whichever color that I want. I decided to test the white, and I'm not sure if you can really see it in the video, because I'm looking at the video but my computer screen kind of sucks. But I think that the Arteza pencil, as bad as it is, still, the Arteza white pencil, still showed up way more than the Kalour pencil. So if you need white, don't use this. But again, I didn't really buy this to use as my only supply in a piece, like a colored pencil only piece, even though I did that in this video. So finishing up this drawing of these tulips, I do like how they came out, but I think that the Arteza was just much richer in color. So, on to the next one. Now you see, this is pretty much what I plan to use the the colored pencils to do. I really like sketching with colored pencils and then using watercolor over it. I know when I listen to like the Frugal Crafter, when Lindsay talks about colored pencils, the water solubility of the pencils is usually a negative, not a positive. But in this case, because I wanted to kind of blend in with the watercolor, that actually works out pretty well. The water does soften the lead much more than it softens the Arteza lead. I'll probably do a comparison at the end of the video, but I do like that. But again, I think I picked the wrong watercolor paper because the watercolor looks awful on it, which really sucks because I did like the sketch of this woman's face. But yeah, I think it would have come out much better, and I did enjoy it for this kind of art piece. My only problem is that I wish that there were more browns, but I always wish there were more browns in every set of everything. More blues, more browns, because those are the colors that I always finish the fastest. At some point, I'm probably going to have to buy open stock, but the shipping is ridiculous, so that's probably not gonna be for a while. And then now I'm using the Rosa Gallery watercolors. They are professional watercolors, but I don't like these watercolors. They're a lot stickier than my other watercolors, and they don't really move much, and I like my watercolors to flow in water. So I don't really like them, but it had the shades of brown that I wanted to use, so I decided to use it anyway. I don't think they would have flowed regardless on this paper. The Doodle Hog paper that I normally use reacts much better with watercolor, so I probably should have used that, but it's the colored pencil we're focusing on, and I did think that the colored pencil worked for exactly what it is I bought them to do, which was to go under watercolor. The phone camera really sharpened a lot of the details, so you can see a lot more grittiness to the pencil, but in reality it doesn't look that bad. Okay, so now for the final piece, the biggest piece, the one that took me a few days to do, and that is the one with the orange. This is the one that I use the Gamazol and I test burnishing with. I don't use either one of these techniques very often because, again, sketching is what I like to do with colored pencils. But I wanted to try it anyway, and once again, the Arteza really performs much better with these. With the Arteza, if I scratch and scribble, it really blends out really nice when I use the odorless mineral spirits on it. But with this, you can see the strokes of the pencil, and I don't like that. The other thing is that this is a problem I have with colored pencils in general. mixing them are too hard because it isn't until you do the final layer and you burnish that you actually see what the color you mixed is, versus like with acrylic, I see exactly what I have on the palette. With watercolor, it might lighten a little, but I have a much better idea, especially if it's a watercolor brand that I use a lot. I know how it's going to look in the end, but with colored pencil, it's like the final result is a surprise for everybody. Or at least it is for me, because these first few layers that I did of the background, they were really hard. So yeah, and I did a lot of scratching and scribbling, and I did that specifically to see how well they would blend out. I've seen Lisa from Lacry Fine Arts use like the color soft, and they blend it out really nice. These did not blend out very nice at all. If I was going to make most of my artwork like this with colored pencil only, the odorless mineral spirits isn't something I would use, not unless I'm going to go on top of it and burnish. And speaking of burnishing, I decided to do that for the orange itself after a few layers of the background. I didn't show the rest of the layers. It's a lot of the same thing, just over and over. I did 3 layers, but the third layer, by the time I reached the third layer, that was it. Nothing else was going on. And I used the Arteza on much smoother paper, and 3 layers was easy. I got 7 layers in some places. These pencils don't layer on each other as much as I would like, but they do layer on top of each other after they've been burnished. You can still add color on top of it. Well, at least I got some color, not much, but enough to make a difference. I tried that with the orange. But yeah, mixing the color for the orange was hard because I couldn't tell what the final color was going to be until I did the burnishing. And that's just a colored pencil thing, which is one of the reasons why I don't use colored pencils like this. This is not how I like to use colored pencils. Sketching is still the best way to use colored pencils. They're so soft and smooth. Even these that I don't like because they're drier and dustier, they let out a lot of dust. It's still so nice to sketch with. I just love sketching with colored pencils. And that's what I plan to use these for. I'm going to do a lot more sketching with colored pencils and maybe under drawings for like watercolor paintings or just paintings in general. So yeah, I will do one final comparison of all these pieces and then give you my final thoughts. One last thing before I give my final thoughts. I found this sketch that I did on the same paper that I did this one, but this was with an Arteza colored pencil. I know the color is different, but I used about the same amount of pressure and you can definitely see a difference with the intensity of the color. It's just a lot softer. So yeah. And for some reason, the Camlin watercolors worked way better on this paper than the Rosa Gallery. Not really a fan of these, even though they were fairly cheap. It was only $15 on sale for this, and this is the single pigment professional line, not the student line. So, now that this is over... Oh, I also did a sketch with the Kalour colored pencils as well. So, now that this is over, what are my thoughts? I still don't really like the color selection. There's that. Second thing, they did pretty fine over the watercolors, and the sketching wasn't too bad. I prefer the Arteza, but these, like, I don't hate them for sketching. They're fine for sketching. I would not use them for finished coloring. They're very dusty, so they're very messy, and I like to sketch on my bed or on the couch while watching TV, so I don't like how messy they are. They get very dusty, and the Arteza does not get dusty like that. It's dustier, it's almost as, it's in between the dustiness of graphite and charcoal, which I know is a big range, but my whole table was covered in pencil dust doing this piece. And I'm not even talking about when I was burnishing. When I was burnishing, it was worse. I'm just talking about laying down the colors so that I can use the odorless mineral spirits. And because they're so dry and dusty, I realized I have the tendency to press harder, which then gives me wrist pain. And as somebody who has arthritis, not rheumatoid arthritis, just regular, well, not regular, but, you know, joint inflammation, especially in my right hand, that was not nice. So I don't like that. It's another reason why when I'm using colored pencils, it's to add details on top of watercolor or to sketch below watercolor or just do regular sketching, because then I don't feel tempted to press. But because these were so dry, I kept pressing harder and ending up with wrist pain. So I don't like that. If I had to say who these were for, they were $11 or $12 when I bought them. I think the price went up a little to like $15 for this particular set. Children, yeah. I don't even really suggest these for a beginner artist because I find them too frustrating. Like with this, I would be very disappointed with my colored pencils if this was the result I got with odorless mineral spirits. But when I used the Arteza, the color was much brighter. So it's definitely the pencils, not the technique. And if I was a beginner, I would not be able to tell the difference between that. Similarly, like with the watercolor and this paper, like I can tell that the problem is the paper, not... But the problem is both the watercolor and the paper. The watercolor didn't sit right on the paper, and I wasn't really using the paper as I should, because this is the same paper. And this came out pretty well. So I'm gonna blame the watercolors for this one, but also I don't think Rosa Gallery watercolors work well on this paper just in general. Camlin Kokuya watercolors work good on everything and they're very cheap, so definitely if you are a beginner or you just want extra watercolors, get the Camlin watercolors. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to be talking, but get this is good. This was $10 when I bought it. It's $20 now, and I still think it's amazing. I've had these for years, and I've filled like 3 palettes. And look how much there's still in here. Look at that. And this set, the 24 set, 5 milliliters, this is for $12. Sometimes it goes down to 10, but these are also really well. These are really good. You can mix a lot. They're very clean. Love these. Highly recommend these watercolors. And based on the light fastness test, these are really good, especially the 12 color set. They last long. They work well with watercolors and other watercolors, colored pencils, and they work well on even cellulose paper. They're very vibrant. So this is really good. Sorry, accidentally hit the tripod. This is really good as well, if you mix it with a little glycerin when you're putting it into a pan. But yeah, anyway, I don't really like these colored pencils. I'm gonna use them for sketching and adding fine details, and that is it. Those are my thoughts. My other thought is that don't listen to YouTube reviews, because so far I think everything I've bought based on a review I haven't liked. I don't know why. And even these are coming from reviewers, because Coloring Bliss did not get these for free. Like, she got them because she bought them. So, and it wasn't this particular set, but I heard that all Kalour colored pencils are made in the same factory. But yeah, people's opinions are different. Just buy whichever you think you would like. Except for the Camlin watercolors, trust me on that one, those are really nice. So, yeah. Once again, check out the description for my new action-adventure portal fantasy, heavy on the action and the adventure and the portals. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you actually like these colored pencils. Let me know if you like other colored pencils. And I can't ask for recommendations to buy because I'm kind of broke right now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video. Later.